Hey, my brother says you're trying to save the career of an Olympic show jumper.
I'm working with Taya Miller's horse. I wouldn't say that I'm saving her career.
It's a lot. Break a leg.
Well, you're clearly capable of hard work if you can cut.
A lot of pressure. Even for the famous Amy Fleming, right?
I mean, seems like we're making it official.
The episode opens on a soft morning light spilling across the Heartland ranch. The sky feels peaceful, but something about the silence feels heavier than usual. Amy walks into the stables, her steps slow, her eyes scanning the familiar space that suddenly feels unfamiliar. The horses sense it too, a restlessness in the air, like they can feel that something isn't right. Amy's been through loss, healing, and heartbreak before. But this time the tension isn't about what's gone wrong outside, it's what's growing inside the family. She pauses near Spartan's stall, brushing her hand across his mane, whispering softly as if grounding herself before the day unfolds. It's in this quiet moment that we sense the storm that's coming. Meanwhile, Jack watches her from the porch, coffee in hand, his gaze steady but worried. He's seen that look before, the one that says Amy's holding something back. Jack has always been the emotional compass of Heartland, the one who knows when the wind is shifting. His silence says more than words ever could. Inside the house, Lou is on the phone, her tone sharp, clipped, and full of frustration. She's managing business at the ranch while trying to balance her own chaos in Hudson. Her mind is racing, and though she tries to hide it, the distance between her and her family is starting to grow. She hangs up quickly when she notices Katie walking in, pretending everything's fine. But that's the theme of this episode, pretending. Everyone's wearing a calm face while their hearts are unsettled. Then there's Tim, still recovering from the fallout of recent episodes, his pride and guilt tangled together. He tries to act strong, but his stubborn nature often pushes people away just when they need him most. This morning, he's quieter than usual, staring out at the fields like he's searching for answers only the land can give. The ranch, usually filled with laughter and warmth, feels colder today. The energy is different. It's not loud tension, it's subtle, like an undercurrent of unease running through everyone's actions. The camera lingers on faces, small glances, half-finished conversations, doors left slightly open. Every detail feels intentional, like the show is telling us something is being hidden. This is where the title Suspicious Minds begins to take shape. Suspicion isn't always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet, like a shadow that follows every word. In this opening act, we don't see the conflict yet, but we feel it. The trust that has always defined Heartland is starting to tremble. And it's not just about one mistake or one secret, it's about the fear of losing connection, of realizing that even family can doubt one another. As the sun rises higher, the pace of the episode slowly picks up. A new day has begun at Heartland, but nothing feels like it used to. Beneath the beauty of the landscape, beneath the sound of hooves and wind, suspicion is taking root. The story sets the stage perfectly, calm on the surface, chaos waiting just beneath. Before we can understand Suspicious Minds, we need to look back not just to the last episode, but to the emotional trail that led everyone here. Heartland has always been a story of love, healing, and second chances, but lately, those second chances feel harder to come by. In episode 4, we saw the cracks begin to form, small, almost invisible at first, but now, in episode 5, those cracks are ready to break open. It all started when Amy made a choice that divided the family. She helped someone from her past, someone who didn't exactly deserve it, because that's who Amy is. Her heart leads before her head catches up. But that kindness came with consequences. It stirred old pain, reopened unhealed wounds, and made the people around her question where her loyalty truly lies. Jack didn't say much at the time, but his silence was heavy, the kind that feels like disappointment, not anger. Meanwhile, Lou has been fighting her own battles. She stretched thin, the mayor of Hudson, a mother, a sister, and the keeper of expectations. In episode 4, she promised everyone she had things under control, but deep down, she knew she didn't. Her business decisions are starting to clash with what's best for the ranch. And that tension isn't just professional, it's personal. Lou has always been the one trying to hold everything together, but now it feels like she's holding on to too much, and her grip is slipping. Tim, on the other hand, is haunted by guilt. The kind that keeps you up at night. He's been trying to fix things with Jessica, but his pride keeps standing in the way. In the last episode, a quiet argument between them turned into something deeper, a moment where both realized that love alone might not be enough to mend old mistakes. Tim's stubbornness has always been his greatest weakness, and now it's isolating him from the people who care most. And then there's Lisa. Her storyline might seem smaller, but it's the glue between all the tension. Her intuition is sharper than anyone gives her credit for. She senses the distance, the half-truths, and the awkward pauses that fill the air around the dinner table. Lisa's quiet concern adds another layer of depth. She doesn't say much, but her expressions speak volumes. When episode 4 ended, it wasn't with an explosion or a fight, it was with uncertainty. A silence that said, "Something's coming." The camera lingered on Amy looking out across the fields, the wind pushing her hair back, her eyes filled with both strength and fear. That image becomes the emotional bridge into Suspicious Minds. Now, as episode 5 begins, the past doesn't feel like it's behind them. It's still here, walking beside every character, whispering reminders of mistakes and choices they'd rather forget. The show doesn't rely on loud confrontations to tell its story. Instead, it uses small moments, a look, a hesitation, a question left unanswered to show how suspicion grows slowly. Like a storm building in clear skies, every character in Heartland is facing the same invisible question. Can I still trust you? It's a powerful theme because it mirrors real life. Sometimes the people we love most are the ones we question the hardest. The recap of episode 4 isn't just a reminder, it's a reflection of how fragile trust can be. It sets the emotional foundation for episode 5, where all these feelings will come to light. And as the sun sets on another day at Heartland, the audience knows something the characters don't yet. Suspicion doesn't just test relationships, it reveals them. The day at Heartland begins like any other. The golden light spills across the fields. Horses graze peacefully, and the rhythm of the ranch hums quietly in the background. But the peace is only an illusion. Beneath the calm, every heartbeat feels heavier, every glance a little too sharp. This is where Suspicious Minds truly begins, not with an explosion, but with an ease that creeps in like fog, slow and quiet, until it covers everything. Amy starts the episode with a simple goal: to train a horse that refuses to trust its rider. But that storyline, like many in Heartland, mirrors her own life. The horse's fear becomes a reflection of the tension around her. As she works patiently, her words sound like advice meant for herself. Sometimes, trust takes time, and it's okay to be scared. Those words hang in the air, echoing longer than they should. Jack notices. He's a silent observer in this episode, always watching, always feeling more than he says. There's a moment between him and Amy in the barn where he asks gently, "You sure you're okay?" She smiles, nods, says she's fine, but her eyes betray her. The camera lingers on that silence. It's the kind of silence that says everything words can't. Meanwhile, Lou is spiraling under the weight of her responsibilities. The mayor's office has pulled her away from home again, and her phone never stops buzzing. Every call is another problem, another reminder that she's juggling too much. When she finally arrives at the ranch, she's met with frustration. Things have gone wrong in her absence. Small mistakes, but enough to light the spark of tension. Amy and Lou exchange sharp words, both defending themselves, both too tired to see how alike they've become. It's not anger that fills the air, it's exhaustion, the kind that turns love into suspicion. Tim tries to step in, but his timing, as always, is terrible. His attempt to fix things only adds to the chaos. He makes an offhand comment that feels more like a jab, and suddenly, old wounds are reopened. Lou fires back, Amy walks away, and Jack just shakes his head, realizing that the family he's worked so hard to hold together is starting to drift apart again. Then, mid-episode, something changes. A visitor arrives unexpected, unannounced. Someone connected to Amy's past training work, carrying both gratitude and trouble. The tension instantly thickens. Jack's instincts kick in. He doesn't trust this newcomer, and his wary glances say it all. Amy insists she's just helping, but her voice trembles slightly, as if she's unsure herself. This is where the title Suspicious Minds begins to breathe. It's not about one big betrayal. It's about the small fractures, the moments when doubt takes root, when you start questioning even the people you love most. The writers use silence and subtle gestures instead of shouting matches. A cup placed too hard on a table. A door closed just a little too quickly. A glance held too long. Every detail adds weight to the story. By the midpoint of the episode, the audience feels that the tension isn't just between the characters, it's inside them. Amy doubts herself. Lou doubts everyone. Jack doubts that honesty will be enough this time. And Tim, he doubts whether he deserves a place in this family he's hurt so often. As night falls on Heartland, the ranch looks the same, but the energy has changed completely. Every Heartland episode carries a message, but Suspicious Minds stands apart because its meaning goes deeper than what we see on the surface. It's not just about conflict or mistrust, it's about how fear quietly reshapes love, how the smallest doubt can turn warmth into distance. The title itself whispers a truth that every family, every friendship, and every heart eventually faces. Sometimes, love is tested not by betrayal, but by suspicion. In this episode, Suspicious Minds acts as both a title and a mirror. It reflects how each character handles doubt, not only toward others, but toward themselves. For Amy, the suspicion isn't just external, it's self-doubt. She questions whether she's making the right choices, whether she's still the same person who once believed she could fix everything with compassion and patience. The horse she trains in this episode, wild-eyed and defensive, becomes a living metaphor. Amy isn't just calming a frightened animal, she's trying to calm her own restless spirit. Lou's struggle paints another side of suspicion, one that grows from pressure. She's surrounded by expectations and responsibilities, and that constant tension makes her defensive. She starts seeing criticism where there is none, mistaking care for judgment. Lou's mind becomes her battlefield, where suspicion grows not from what others do, but from what she fears she might fail to do. This is one of the show's quietest, yet most powerful commentaries that suspicion doesn't always come from lies. Sometimes it's born from exhaustion and fear. Then there's Jack. For years, he has been the rock, the moral anchor of Heartland. But even the strongest hearts feel the pull of doubt. In this episode, we see a rare crack in Jack's armor. He wants to trust his family completely, yet he can't shake the feeling that something is off. His suspicion doesn't look like anger, it looks like worry, disappointment, a kind of sadness that only comes when someone you love starts to pull away. Jack's quiet moments, those thoughtful stares across the ranch, his unspoken sighs reveal that suspicion isn't always about accusing others. Sometimes it's the pain of feeling left out of the truth. The brilliance of this episode lies in its restraint. There are no loud confrontations, no melodramatic speeches. The tension is woven into silence, into subtle pauses, into the space between words. The title Suspicious Minds becomes almost poetic here. It doesn't scream, it whispers. It's a reminder that suspicion starts small, often invisible, until it becomes impossible to ignore. But what makes this episode truly special is how it ties the idea of suspicion to love. The same people we trust most are the ones we fear losing the most. And that fear, that need to protect what we love, is what creates suspicion in the first place. It's not hate that breaks relationships. It's the quiet, growing doubt that love might not be enough. By the end of this section of the episode, you can feel the emotional shift. The title no longer feels like a warning, it feels like a confession. Every character carries their own version of suspicion, yet underneath it all, there's still hope. Hope that honesty can rebuild what fear has broken. Hope that trust, once lost, can be found again. Suspicious Minds reminds us that even the strongest families can falter. But true love, the kind built on years of shared pain and healing, can still find its way through the cracks. And that's the heart of Heartland. It's not about being perfect. It's about choosing to believe again. Even when your mind tells you not to, every great episode of Heartland hides secrets between its scenes, quiet clues, soft gestures, and looks that mean more than words ever could. Suspicious Minds is one of those episodes that leaves breadcrumbs carefully placed for viewers who pay attention. Beneath the beauty of the ranch and the calm rhythm of daily life, you can feel something bigger taking shape, the setup for what might unfold in episode 6 and beyond. Let's start with Amy. Her scenes with the troubled horse aren't just about rebuilding trust, they're foreshadowing her next emotional battle. When the horse finally allows her to approach, it's a turning point. But it also hints at a parallel story, Amy learning to trust herself again. The way she hesitates before reaching out, the slight tremble in her hand, these are not random details. They're deliberate. The writers are preparing us for a moment in the future when Amy will have to make a choice that challenges everything she believes about love and forgiveness. The question is, will her heart lead her right or betray her again? Then there's Jack. In one of the episode's most overlooked moments, we see him writing something in his old notebook late at night. The lighting is soft, his face half in shadow. The camera never shows what he's writing, a choice that feels intentional. Jack's notebooks have always been symbols of his thoughts and regrets, and this scene suggests he's keeping something to himself. A truth, perhaps, or a fear he's not ready to voice. Could this connect to an old storyline, or a secret from his past resurfacing? It's the kind of small moment that Heartland fans know always pays off later. Lou's storyline is another quiet storm. Her growing frustration isn't just about stress, it's about disconnection. In this episode, we catch her staring out of her office window, watching the lights of Hudson fade into the distance. It's a shot that says more than dialogue ever could. Lou's beginning to wonder if she's lost sight of what matters most. Her obsession with keeping control might lead to a decision that hurts the very people she's trying to protect. Episode 6 might push her to face that truth, and it won't be easy. And then there's Tim, always stubborn, always fighting his demons. His brief conversation with Jessica feels small, but it carries weight. When she says, "You can't keep fixing what you won't admit is broken," it's not just about their relationship. It's a theme for the whole family. Every character in Suspicious Minds is avoiding something, pretending the cracks aren't there. Jessica's words are the writers speaking directly to us, a signal that the next episode will force those hidden truths to the surface. Even the cinematography whispers clues. The long, still shots of the ranch at sunset, peaceful, yet lonely, hint at separation. The camera's distance from the characters suggests emotional distance too. In Heartland, nothing in the frame is accidental. The lighting, the silence, even the choice to show an empty barn before a scene, they all build a feeling that something, or someone, is missing. By the end of Suspicious Minds, the audience feels it. The calm is temporary. Episode 6 will likely bring a reckoning, a confrontation where honesty can no longer hide behind politeness. We might finally see Amy speak the truth she's been holding in, or Lou face the consequences of her choices. Maybe Jack's secret will come to light. Whatever happens, the seeds have already been planted here. The power of Suspicious Minds isn't just in what it reveals, it's in what it promises. Every glance, every hesitation, every whispered line sets the stage for something deeper. The family has been holding their breath for too long. Sooner or later, someone will exhale, and when they do, the truth will finally break free. By the time the credits roll on Suspicious Minds, the ranch looks calm again, the horses resting, the sky fading into that familiar golden dusk, but the peace feels fragile. Every smile in the closing scene carries weight. Every word left unspoken hums with unfinished emotion. It's the kind of ending Heartland does best. Quiet, reflective, and heavy with meaning. This episode doesn't end with a clean resolution. It ends with a question, not the kind that's asked out loud, but the kind that lingers in the heart. Can love survive when doubt takes root? Suspicious Minds doesn't give us a simple answer. Instead, it lets the silence speak. We see Amy standing alone by the fence, the wind brushing through her hair. She looks strong, but her eyes tell another story, the story of someone who's still learning how to trust again. Not just others, but herself. Lou, on the other hand, sits in her office, the phone finally quiet for once. She stares at the family photo on her desk. For a second, Her expression softens regret, maybe, or longing before she turns off the light and leaves. That single gesture says it all. She's beginning to realize that control doesn't equal peace. Sometimes letting go is the only way to find it. Jack remains the anchor, as he always has been, but even he looks weary now. His final scene sitting on the porch, coffee mug in hand, gazing at the horizon feels almost symbolic. He knows storms come and go, but what scares him this time is that the storm isn't out there in the sky. It's within the people he loves. That final shot, as the camera pulls back to show the vastness of the ranch, reminds us that even the strongest foundations can shake. The deeper beauty of Suspicious Minds lies in its realism. It captures the way life actually works quietly, painfully, beautifully. Trust isn't lost in a single moment. It fades in whispers. Love isn't destroyed by anger. It's tested by uncertainty. And yet, Heartland always finds a way to remind us that healing begins the same way, not with grand gestures, but with simple acts of understanding. As the screen fades to black, the title's meaning finally settles in. Suspicious Minds doesn't just describe the episode, it describes the human condition. We all carry suspicion inside us. It's a survival instinct, a shield against pain. But when love is real, when it's patient, when it's earned, it can quiet those suspicions and replace them with trust again. So what comes next?